welcome to Broker to Broker podcast, brought to you by AIME, Association of Independent Mortgage Experts. I'm your host, JP Hussey of the Hussey Team Mortgage Advisors, and today got my buddy Matt Cole, United Wholesale Lending.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, man? Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
We met in we did a small podcast in Irvine. So
yeah,
good to see you again, man. No doubt.
it was good, man. I got to sit close to you guys. It was the pre 6 feet thing.
Yeah, right. That was right when it was going down. Remember?
That's right, man. It was early.
Started coming. Yeah.
Early craziness.
And for people that don't know, Matt's about 2 sizes of me. You're just jacked up, man. I love it. And you gave me so much energy that day. I'll never forget it, man. So I'm hoping to get some more of that today.
Absolutely.
So everything going good, man? Like I was saying, we're not busy, right?
No, man. Up at 9, sleeping,
Watch some Netflix, the whole thing.
Up at 5.
Yeah, right.
Up at 4:30.
Yeah. Well, let's dive in, man. I know a little bit about you. Hoping some people listen to the 15-20 minute podcast we did in Irvine, but let's tell everyone a little bit about your history, how you got into the mortgage industry. I love to see the whole flow there. Give people an idea, and then we'll flow right into it.
Yes, sir.
When did you get into the industry?
I started mortgage back in 2000, late 2001, early 2002, and before that, I was in fiber optic construction. So we were doing a lot of underground fiber optics for telecom companies. And my buddy that worked for First American Title pulls up in a brand new M3 BMW, and I'm in a Chevy beat up pickup truck with work boots and 30-ass jeans and and I'm looking at him going, how do I get to what you're doing? Because I don't like doing this anymore. So he had me come into our friend's office on Monday who owned a mortgage company. I sat there at his desk watched him call title leads for probably 10, 15 minutes, took 2 or 3 applications, told me what he was going to make on those deals. I quit my job that day, had my grandma take me to JCPenney's to buy work clothes, and that was that. I was first day wearing a button-up shirt and pants.
That's cool. It's kind of like if you saw the movie Wolf on Wall Street, when his buddy quits right then and there. If you show me a check of what you made, I'll quit now.
When I watched that movie for the first time, I laughed so hard at that. That's exactly what I did. I said, if you show me that I can do that, I will quit today. And I will come work for you. And I give those guys props all the time, man. Without those 2 dudes in my life, I wouldn't be here today.
That's awesome. Now, what type of mortgage company was it? Was it a bank, correspondent, broker?
Broker, man. Brokering was the shit back in the day. Back in 2001 and 2, that's all it was about, man. That subprime 228 and 327 year loans with prepays, and that was just the thing. That was the norm back then.
Yeah. So after how long were you with that company for?
I probably worked with them for about a year.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that was in my hometown where I grew up, and then ended up moving to Sacramento where I'm at now, and then working for a buddy's dad and my buddy and my other friend that I met when I was there. And then we were there for quite a few years. That's when the rule changed that being a broker, we'd had to that was before NMLS. So NMLS, we needed to have our real estate license at least back then. So I got my real estate license 2004, and well before NMLS was required, but had my license back then. So tried to do a real estate transaction one time, and it was the worst freaking experience of my life. So showing houses on a weekend, hungover, going, nah, man, this is not the deal.
Yeah, no doubt. So you went through the whole crash too, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, shit, I could have given this desk a loan back back then, and now watching the whole market just completely tank. A lot of the bad mortgages, stated income for 15 grand a month for a Target cashier, you know what I mean? So, been there, saw it go up, saw it go down.
And did you stay in the industry all through it as well?
Yeah. I mean, just, like anything in life, you just got to roll with the punches and, reset and just figure out what the next move is. And just, obviously, only 3 people in the world on The Big Short noticed that was going to happen. So Now it's, none of us really figured it out until it happened. I tried to keep going. So I kept dumping money into marketing and tried to just survive, and just, lost my ass on everything. So
Yeah.
started work from home, just dialing for dollars at that point from my house.
Cool, cool. So I think you are newer with United Wholesale Lending, right? When did you join those guys? It's a powerhouse, man. Like we all know.
Yeah, we're putting the name out there for sure. I started with Pete and Shelby, I think January of 2018.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, so I was retail for quite a few years before that. Got a lot of good experience working with some retail companies. I mean, working with my previous company, I was working with some of the top lenders in the entire country. Some of them I still talk to. Some of them have changed to a broker. Some of them still, getting paid peanuts to do loans for retail. But this is that security thing. They get the scare tactics that they're getting from their
Yeah.
managers. So
Yeah, I mean, like this whole thing, there's the whole battle, broker, retail, the whole thing. But hey, a lot of us, this industry goes in waves, right?
mhm.
And I'm sure you'll say you took a lot of good things from that side. What I've seen a
Absolutely.
lot from that retail side, bigger companies, is really the systems, right? If you can take a lot of those systems and then move it over to this side, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
So
the company I worked for, man, they kept winning technology firm of the year, company of the year every year for years and out. But I mean, the systems and everything they had in place was it made it so efficient for the loan officer and just the actual loan officer's team. It was almost impossible to screw up a closing or screw up a loan. So
yeah, yeah. So besides Pete and Shelby being awesome dudes, I know those guys. What was your reasoning to jump over from retail to the broker side? Like, what were you seeing that you knew you had to make that change?
for me, it was a timing thing. I needed to make sure that I had the right systems in place. I'm super systematic, and I learned
Yep.
that from a guy that I met at my previous company, who eventually is now a broker. But I learned a lot from that guy, and basically, it was a timing thing mainly for me, to where, because Pete and Shelby tell me every day for years, hey man, you need to jump back over here. And I don't think I was really ready for it. And then eventually, I think at a point where I knew that I was hitting the top 1% in the country, I was 90% purchase, and I said, I'm ready to do this. Like my business is consistent. There's none of this going on. My team was ready to go. And again, if broker world was to completely stop dead in its tracks today, that would be the company I would probably end up going back to, just
Yeah.
because they got shit done. But again, retail, I will never look back while wholesale is still here. So it's been going to broker has completely changed my life. It's changed
Yeah.
my life for my family. It's changed my life for my team, for my clients, for my realtors. It has completely changed my life for the better.
That's cool, man. And you brought your whole team or most of your team over with
my
you as
my
well.
entire team.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about your team and who's
Yeah,
on it?
so that's another thing I learned. I learned that from the same gentleman that is now a broker. You know, he's got structured breakdowns of what people do. And when I first went to my old company, he got on a company call with us and just kind of started talking. And the first thing that triggered me was, this guy talks like I do, and his business is like how I want my business to be, but his is here and mine's down here. You know what I mean? I want to get mine as close to his as I possibly can. So I flew down to LA and I met with this guy, for the day, and just kind of took some tips, and I was just like, what are some things you do? And the stuff that he has with this team, it opened my eyes to how important it is to have a team, because I come to work and I'm smiling. I don't, I love my hair. I love my no wrinkle. You know what I mean? I'm not losing my shit, So people that try to do everything on themselves and just overwork and overwhelm themselves, it leaves yourself open for just either stress or mistakes or just missed opportunities. So one of the things that I really kind of put in place is having this team, to where, my only job in this entire, scheme of what we do, is to make sure that every lead gets contacted, everybody gets talked to. I actually physically take every loan app and talk to every client out of the gates, every single one of our clients. And we did, 300 loans last year, probably went through, I can't even tell you how many applications.
Oh yeah.
So I do all of the actual upfront chitter chat,
Okay.
talking to the client, making sure they're sold, making sure they're happy with the loan program they're getting. My assistant, Angela, has worked with me for probably 5 or so years now. She works from home. She actually just moved out of California to Idaho. And
Oh,
she still just crushes it. And her main job, that all she does, I don't want to say all she does in
right.
like a thin way, but what she does is, she emails the client, collects data, collects their taxes, W-2s, pay stubs, whatever's needed. She scrubs credit. She scrubs the application. She'll, go off my notes of what I kind of tell her, a little breakdown of everything. She requests that stuff from the client, gets it, reviews it, fills out Fannie calculator forms, runs DU. She'll send a TBD in if it needs to be TBD'd to check if the income's weird or whatnot. She knows guidelines. So she makes sure that loan is getting people paid before she calls me back and says,
Cool.
hey, this is a go. So once she's done with the loan, she'll let me know. I'll get the buyer back on the phone. Hey, just want to let you know, here you go. You're ready to go buy a house. Let me know what you're comfortable with as a payment. Okay, you're comfortable at $2,000. Well, here's your purchase price at $2,500. Here's your payment, your purchase price at $2,200. Here's your purchase price at $2,000. Here's your purchase price at $1,800. Now you kind of have a breakdown of what you think you're gonna be able to go find. Call me when you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when it goes in the contract, get a contract, push it over to Angela. She gets fees. She pushes it to processing. So Jennifer's our main processor. Her job is to re-scrub that loan. So now it's been basically scrubbed 3 times, once by me, once by Angela, once by her. So she re-scrubs it, gets updated docs if necessary, registers it, orders the appraisal, sends disclosures, submits it into underwriting. She's basically done at that point with that loan. Once it's approved, she scrubs the approval. Hey, we have this in the file, get rid of it. Hey, you don't need this. This is out of guidelines. Why are you asking for this? Oh, I forgot to send this in. And then she'll push it to our other processor, Madison, who basically closes it out. Emails the client, here's what's needed, boom, boom, boom. Send me this within 48 hours, whatever. Submits into the closing documents, gets clear to close, gets docs out, boom.
Do it over.
Yeah, and then I have 2 other people, Ryan, who basically manages the whole loan from basically approval to close to make sure locks need to be extended, our CDs are out, our dates are met. He'll break he's super analytical, so he breaks down like the details where I'm just like,
What?
that's not me. Right. So he's the guy that's breaking down dates. He's tracking loans. He's making sure that everything is just never gets screwed up on the the details part of the loan. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have a lot of client interaction, but he does break down the CD. Hey buyer, CD's ready. Here's what it is. Boom, 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 boom. And once he's done, make sure rate locks are extended or whatnot if they need to be.
Yeah.
And then Velvet, I've been working with Velvet for God knows how long. She's been one of my closest friends. She compliances all our loans to make sure we get paid. She's ordering all my welcome gifts, all my closing gifts. Someone's getting married, someone's sick, someone's family members going through a hard time. She's sending them stuff. She's following up with my realtors, following up with my buyers. She's just making sure that she's just the communication of the company. She's really sweet. She's awesome with how she communicates to people. But yeah, that's the squad, man.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, as I'm taking this all in, right? It's like you have a bunch of different insurance policies, right?
Yeah,
they are, right? They're protecting you, man.
Nobody's doing too much. Nobody's stressed out. Everybody comes to work happy. They all work from home. Everybody's happy. They get paid well. They never, there's not much to complain. When I hire somebody, I always want to know what's the most important thing in your life. And if, is it money or is it stability? And obviously stability is a good thing, but I like it when someone says, I want to make money.
Yeah.
Because I know when someone wants to make money, I know that they're going to work and they're not going to be like, I'm missing this, or I got to go do that, or I got, and just asking the right questions when I hire people. Everybody that works in this team is a friggin' awesome fit. I got people that just want to work and get the job done, and they're awesome at it. So it's just, that's obviously an added bonus there.
Yeah. I mean, I love how you said, there's a bad rap if I'm only out for money. All right, it's more complex than that.
Absolutely not.
No,
I want everyone that works here to be all about money and just work here and be happy and just driving that coin. Because the client, they're going to be good with the clients. Like, if they can't just want money and be shitty at their job, that's just not going to work. But if I got some of the best people in the industry that they're telling me they want to work and make money, let's go.
And if you love money, you love making it, right? It's like a
Mhm.
game at this
Yeah,
point, right? It's not like,
100%.
whatever, right? You got money and you have to look long term, because if you like making money, you got to do stuff the right way to continue to make money. So it's
Absolutely.
money
And
with the stability, man.
yeah, I mean, being a part of our team, I mean, we have one of the top teams in the country. So if you want to be a part of something great and something stable, obviously, and when rates, for me, I could give a shit if rates are 2%. Obviously, it's great,
Yeah.
but my buyers bought houses at 5.5, 5.25. I was still crushing it then. I do so much purchase. So now that the rates are good, like I'm working in a few refis a month, which I have a hard time with refis more than anything. So man, they're just not my bag. But you know, for us, it's just we're consistently busy. Like we're never not busy.
Yeah. How is the purchase market where you're at? I mean, obviously for you, it's good, but what's it like out there right now?
I mean, right before COVID hit, it was awesome. And then, it was still really good. Typical. I've doubled my volume year to date. Even on purchase, my purchases is up. But where it's really been wonky is obviously the COVID stuff that's gone on. A lot of just uncertainty with during the hot times of the year, with like the May and April, months. But my applications throughout this entire process have been insane up.
Mhm.
So my pre-approvals have just been completely through the roof. New contracts for a minute were just not working, but have always still been up. But now I'm getting contracts almost every day, getting new pre-approvals multiple times a day. It's insane. It's wildfire right now. So
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's great to hear. Yeah. I mean, when this whole COVID thing came about, like, I'm not saying you were freaking out, but you're like, all right, things got to change, right? Like, how did you guys handle that? Was that reading guidelines, getting your girls on task here? Like, what was the feeling there when that happened?
yeah, I mean, I just prepared them and, just let them know, look, this isn't going to be, this is, we're going through some weird changes. So a loan that we just had here one day, it may not fit. So we went through a lot of that where we'd stick a loan here. Oh shit, something changed. We got to send it here. But that's the glory about being a broker. And that's one of the things I seen on, the AIME website and the Brokers for Better page. It was, that's why we're brokers. Switch the loan up. You know what I mean? I wouldn't blow a lock, obviously, but
Right.
it was more along the lines of, hey, this loan don't fit here anymore because of last minute loan change. I mean, I had purchases that were almost clear to close with programs that got canceled with some
No.
places. And I went, so what do you mean? And they're like, that loan's gone. That program is no longer available. And I was like, I was locked. Sorry about that. So I'd have to, you know what I mean? So just a lot of, keeping your head up, staying focused, knowing that this shit was going to get better and doing our jobs. I mean, at the end of the day, we get paid big bucks to be able to handle a lot of craziness. And if you don't have what it takes to manage your team or yourself or your clients through a shitty situation, that's your part of the problem. Then you need to really be able to give them a positive outlook of like, hey, this isn't just me and you that's going through this today. This is the entire country. So,
Mhm.
I respect you. If you don't want to go forward, I get it. But this is a disaster, and you just either buy a house or hold off. So
Yeah. I have noticed though, and tell me if you agree, I feel like most clients have been really cool about it, because they know it's not on us, man. It's really about the teamwork type situation. When you have that disconnect of, oh, I'm just a mortgage broker and we're just going to be transactional, it's not good. But I feel like most clients were understanding and they worked with you and they got to the end. Have you seen the same thing?
yeah, I mean, again, so for us, we still try our best to get as much of the details of a loan in the very beginning stages so that our middle to end process is really easy.
Hmm.
Angela does a fantastic job and Jen does a fantastic job up front to making sure that we're not going back to the client asking for 40 conditions on a loan approval and then hoping that we get half of them. So we get probably 2 to 3, maybe 4 conditions on a loan. Um, but even during that process, the biggest pain point was the
Oh yeah,
re-verifications of
nightmare.
employment throughout the closing, which, that was tough, and a lot of people obviously they get it when you tell them, hey, I mean, this is just what it is for right now. You're buying a house in the eye of a friggin' hurricane with this COVID stuff. So you know, I applaud you for doing this because this is a big move, but you're, you know, also you're taking advantage of some serious low rates. So, you know, you can wait and see if they go up or get this done and go now. So.
Yeah. They've been, it was nuts. But like I said, I think most people are cool as long as you can speak through it. And that's why we
Yep.
get paid the big bucks, man.
Yeah, people get worried when they don't hear from you, you know. So
Yeah.
if you don't hear from them, you're not updating them. The unknown is what freaks people out. So if you're just communicating with them up front, hey, just letting you know that there's going to be multiple verifications of employment at closing. There's going to be some changes of guidelines. There's going to be things that are going to pop up in the middle of this loan that are going to completely potentially change the dynamics of your loan type. You're self-employed, you're going to get beat up. You know what I mean? And that's just what it is. Nothing personal. It's just what these banks are doing, and you know, it's all risk at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, one thing I noticed too is with your team, like it's not like one person handles a ton of different things.
no.
It's very strategic, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you tell someone that's looking to grow a team like that so that they can, because obviously that's more money, right?
Yep.
The guy on the front end has to go get more leads. You got to pay for it. Right? Like, what do you tell someone that needs to believe to do that? You know, like what
it's gonna cost you money to support a team, but you have to imagine and think of it as what you're losing by not having a team. How much money and how many leads and how many buyers or how many just anything that you're missing out on and commissions that you're missing out on because you don't have that team structure. So you might not want to spend $5,000 a month, 10 grand a month, whatever you want to set up for paying out people to help you build your business. But that was one of the, I'll tell you that spending money on a team has quadrupled my business because now I could solely focus on making sure that nobody gets forgotten to be called back. Everybody gets followed up with. I can spend my time calling realtors all day. I could take realtors to, you know, we go to events, we're doing things, we're doing, you know, video shoots of their listings. I could focus more on creating beneficial content for my business partners because I have people that I trust and know and everything in the background handling shit. Like they're getting it done. So you can't look at it as what you're losing every month. I can't lose 15, 5, 10 grand a month. I can't spend that. Well, that's fine, but you're probably losing 20 to 30 to 40 grand a month by not doing that. So I'd rather spend 10 to 15 to know that I'm making an extra 50, 60, whatever that number is, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. So let's talk about some fun stuff then, right? So you're the front end guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Love your energy, right? So what are you doing on that marketing side? I know you said taking realtors out, doing what you have to do, but could you dive in a bit more of what you're doing there to continue to generate these leads?
Yeah, I mean, you know, some of the stuff I've learned is, you know, I'm not a big social media. I have it for work, but what I've kind of learned is that there's a lot of dynamics through social media that you can create content for realtors and help them build their social media branding, you know, and keep it within RESPA, obviously, but help them build their social media awareness. And so what I've been doing is we've been shooting different listings for realtors. We've been creating it, branding it to ourselves, putting in our name, our logos. They're being interviewed on our video. They don't own the rights of it. It's not just branded to them. It's not branded to them at all. They get it, you know, an introduction, their name, their company name. We get to highlight their listing. And we've blasted all over social media. We share it. You know, and then we also create Facebook ads for those as well, where they pay for the leads. We create the Facebook ads, but we push the leads right back to them on their own listing.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, I just kill them with absolute content and kill them with benefit of what kind of added value I can create for their team. Any knucklehead can close an easy loan and as a loan officer, and you know what I mean, and sell, you know, how great their rates are and this, that, and the other. But this is the time and age where it's like, what else have you done for me lately? So, you know, we just try to overwhelm them with what we can do. You know, we add so much more value to realtors, I think, than anybody out there that, you know, it's not just closing the deal, getting them paid, offering good rates, closing early, getting appraisals paid for, getting appraisals done quick. It's helping them also build their brand and create more of a you know, an awareness for their team. So that's one of our biggest things that we're doing right now.
Yeah. Do you see anything coming on the horizon that you may have to, because I'm sure you're always evolving, right? What if social media was just gone one day? Like, what would you do to stay in front of it?
I mean, I grew up doing loans where it was feet on the bricks, you know. I mean, it was grinding at houses. It was either door knocking, it was open houses, it was handing out flyers, it was direct mail. So if social media were to go away, it would be a lot of just resorting back to what got me here in the first place. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people, they think too much into what's the next big thing, but it's like, you know, there's a reason why old school agents are still crushing it with a lot of their old school tactics. It's just because that shit works. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not like, oh, out with the old, in with the new. Obviously that's the case because the news popping. But if that were to go away, it would just be resorting back to the old school way of getting business done, man. The handshake, the wearing my name sticker wherever I go,
Mm-hmm.
introducing myself, telling people what I do. You know, this would be the marketing. You know what I mean? This
Yeah.
should always be the marketing for the most part, anyways. You know, nobody knows your brand and what you're capable of doing more than what you know. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's still, I mean, it still works, man. Belly to belly. I know we're in
mhm.
a out there, but there's still ways to do that. I mean, everything's opening back up. You got to get belly to belly, the handshakes, like you said, let people know who you are. Because people, man, we could talk about tech and how, the loan
Yeah,
officer is going away. I don't see it, man. Like, we're going to
nah.
use technology to automate to free up more time so we can go that you like to do.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if they come out with things that are going to keep the loan process a little more easy for clients, and you got to remember, man, not everybody digs doing everything online, and keep taking the loan officer out of the equation just leads for more mistakes. But also, people like boots on the ground. People like that interaction. They like to know that they're working with somebody. You know what I mean? So that would be a small percentage. Do I see it coming? Absolutely, man. I'll tell you to this day, and you can replay this podcast when it happens. Technology will be the next tank of this industry, where it's just overloaded
Too much.
technology.
I agree.
Where there's so much technology that it makes the loan process so easy that they're just running comps on a 2-bedroom shack that's been gutted and no appraiser went out there. I mean, and that's just what it is. So technology will be the next beatdown of what happens. Just, that's my assumption.
Yeah, it's going to be too much,
Too much.
and I can already feel it, man. You start to feel like people are getting away from like social media a little too much, or they want to have more of that interaction. Like, I see it kind of coming back.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go too far, and that's the downfall. But I agree with you totally, man.
I mean, a lot of people, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you get it. So many people do social media like crap. They don't do it right. There's a right and wrong way to do your social media. You can't just jam open houses every day. Look at my open house. Look at my open house. Look at my open house. You can't do it that way. So many realtors and even lenders and anybody, they don't add any call to actions. They don't, social media is about being social. It's not about just posting a picture. It's about socializing with other people and trying to get them to re-engage with you. The more re-engagement you get, the more comments, the more likes, the more you reply back to their comments, their stories, the more stories you review and add. It boosts your algorithm on social media, and it puts you higher ranked within the organization because they like you. It likes that you're interacting and you're being actually social.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't ever reply or don't ever, if I told you, JP, I think your shirt's fantastic, and you just looked at me like this,
Right?
and I mean, I would never tell you your shirt looked good again. It's the same thing on social media. If you give me a comment and you're like, hey man, good job on your marketing, and I just didn't say shit, or I didn't like it, or at least reply, you can be like, what a dick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's super important when you're on social media. A lot of people are getting out of it because they're just not good at it. So it's good for us, the ones that actually re-engage with clients. Hey, I like that house. Awesome. Yeah, awesome house. I can connect you with the guy, tagging the realtor, tagging,
Mm-hmm.
the team. It's all about the social activity that you create within social
Yeah,
media.
and it's about being real, man. I've had plenty of people I meet for the first time that were friends on whatever, Facebook, whatever it is, and they're like, "Whoa, you're actually the guy that you portray on social media."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, I'm just portraying who I am." A lot of
Yep.
people aren't being as authentic as they should be, man. Have you ever gotten that? Like, someone meet you and they're like, "Oh, you're actually the dude. Like, I thought you weren't."
I get it all the time. I get people that are like, man, you're exactly how I thought you were on your videos, because I'm a big personality. I
Yeah.
am really all over the place. I just have just a very loud personality. So never very confident, not afraid of much. Um, you know, so when I meet people that are following me that I've never met, or if I see them out in open house, or they're the listing agent on an offer I write, that's where it's really helpful. The more engagement I can get with local real estate agents and the ones I don't know, when my offer lands on their computer, I'm like, hey, I mean, I see you on social media, man. I think you do a good job, or hey, let me know if you want some tips or anything I can do, and if you have any listings, let me know. Here's some listings that I've shot. Boom, boom, boom. And anything, anything to add, again, any kind of benefit I can add to try to get the buyer's offer accepted or whatnot.
Nice.
It's always helpful.
Now, you said you weren't scared of much. Give me one thing you're scared of.
Spiders.
Spiders. I'm not a spider guy either, man.
I hate spiders. I love snakes. I love, that kind of stuff. Spiders are not my thing, man. I walked through a spider web this morning in my garage and I about freaking did a backflip.
Yeah, if you see someone walking down the street and they start going like this, like,
oh man, yeah, I live in the boondocks, and I was just actually, there's a big spider web with one right in the middle, and I social distance myself from that thing way more than 6 feet.
That's cool. All right, let's talk. I mean, we're coming up, man. It's been already 30 some minutes, but
yeah.
Tell me a little bit. You have a bunch of kids, right?
Yeah, man. We got married. We got 6 children.
That's awesome, man. So how's that dynamic in the mortgage industry, man? How's the work-life balance? Like, how are you managing that?
One of the things that Shelby taught me that I will never forget this is that, he lives every day like he's broke. Obviously, one of the most successful guys that I've known, especially for his age. The guy does amazing things. Great dad, great husband, got awesome family. He's got a lot of awesome, assets. I look up to a guy like that because he's just done a lot of the right things. But one of the things he taught me is that if he has a bunch of cash money saved in his accounts and just sitting there, it makes him feel like, I'm good, man. I got all this money saved. But if I live my life every day like I'm broke, it makes me want to go out every day and make sure that I'm grinding Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like I've got $20 in my account. So for me, with the kids, it's the same thing. I know that I got to work extra hard than most people because, households having usually 1 to 2 to 3 kids the most. So for us, I got a daughter that's going to law school. I got a son that's graduating high school. I got a daughter that's about to be a senior. And then we started over, and now I have a first grader now. She just graduated kindergarten. One that's about to be a kindergartner, and then the how did this happen? 1-year-old that's here now. So
that's awesome, man. Yeah, I got 3 myself. You got me doubled, but it's a lot, man. When you're sole income, whatever you're doing. But I love living like you're broke, man.
Living like you got nothing in the bank. Because if you start feeling comfortable because you got a lot of money and you're crushing it right now, you're gonna might ease up. Not a lot of people have the mentality that that it takes to go out and grind their asses off no matter what. Like if you got a couple $100,000 in the bank and you're like, cool, man, I can go out of town for a month. I don't have that mindset. If I go out of town, my computer's going with me. I'm working. There's not a time where I'm not sitting at lunch by myself. I don't go to lunch with anybody. If I go to lunch, I'm taking my computer, I'm set up in the corner, I'm working, I'm saying hi, I'm back to working. I'm a horrible lunch date. You know what I mean? So I'm not good at it.
No, I feel you, man. I mean, I've been with, this is the 4th, and well, I own the company now, but 3 kids, and I was 3 companies before this. I literally started at a new spot when my wife was pregnant. And that gave me the motivation. I'm like, I got to go. I've done it every time. Now, I hope I don't have any, oopsies, like we're good right now.
Dude, yeah, make sure you don't have those.
But I agree with that. Living like you're broke. We're in the spot where we're selling and buying a new house right now in a crazy market. I'm freaking out a bit, but hey, man, we're going to liquidate it. We're going to go. It's going to make me work harder.
Hey, man, you woke up this morning, so that's it. I live my life every day excited that I wake up. And my wife, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, my wife is a huge part of why I'm successful. She's an amazing mom, great wife. Kids are great, so being able to know that I just have that crazy support here just makes me helps me focus more on making sure that I'm doing the right things for them. So
cool, man. Cool. All right. I got 2 more questions for you. Then we're going to wrap this bad boy up.
Yep.
If you were, let's say, brand new loan officer or someone that needs to reinvent themselves, maybe like you did a couple years ago when you joined Pete and Shelby, right?
Yeah.
What would you tell them right now? Like, obviously maybe live like you're broke, but what would you do to motivate them?
I mean, one of the biggest pieces of advice that I ever got was from my buddy's dad at Countrywide when he was like one of the high execs up at Countrywide. And to this day, I still do the same thing. I ask people of certain positions, that are, obviously executive CEOs, top ranking officials, like, hey, what advice would you give me to, and just anything, like, what are you doing to be successful? Give me something. So I asked him probably back in like 2005 when I kind of just got started in the industry. And one of the biggest pieces of advice that I ever took was, and I'll never forget this because I did it and it changed my life. And this is hard for people. This is extremely hard for people. And, this isn't for everybody, but this is for the people that really get it. When rates go down, do not shut down your realtors and focus on refis. That will bury you when rates go up. So he goes, when rates go down, call every realtor because guess what? There's a shit ton of lenders who are just like, easy money coming up, I got to go. You know what I mean? Chasing refis all day and not giving the realtors the attention that they need to be able to stay. And realtors get that. They know, oh, rates must be good. I'm not hearing from my loan officer every day asking for business. He's not taking me to lunch. We're not going golfing. We're not, any kind of meetings together. So in 2012, 13, when rates just dropped to the 3s for the first time ever, man, that was probably one of the toughest things that I did. But I seriously went to every real estate office I can imagine. I called every realtor I could. Hey, give me loans that are turning down. Give me your tough loans. Give me anything that I can take, and I'll run with it. Hey, let's go to lunch. Let me tell you about myself. Let me see how I can help you grow help with your business. And I probably got 5 or 6 solid real estate agents that were sending me at least 2 to 3 closable deals a month. And then on top of that, just a bunch of leads that would end up closing down the road, or just tougher deals that we needed to shelf and work on. But I built my name that way, and I became in Sacramento. Sacramento's probably one of the top purchase lenders in the entire city at that point. But it was a bite in the ass because I didn't go and market my refi clients. I didn't go chasing refis. I wasn't just looking at the easy money. And that's kind of how it is now. I am still heavy on purchase, even in a market like this. We're still doing refis, and we're still doing a heavy amount of them because they're it's almost impossible not to, but we only go after a small window amount. So we're only really focusing on maybe this much refi right now. Okay. And we're doing this much purchase because we don't want to screw up our turn time for purchase. We don't want to jam up our realtors. We don't, and again, every lender out there doesn't think this way, and I respect that. A lot of them freaking hate realtors, which obviously realtors are tough people to work with if you're not friends with them. My realtors are like my best. We're friends. Even if we didn't do business together, we'd still hang out or still talk or still bullshit or still see each other at lunch, still say hi, and I don't want to work with every realtor in the world. They're not every one of them is for me. So just pick and choose the people you work with. There's a lot of people out there, and work with people that you can get along with and people that respect your time. There's a lot of important things as a loan officer that you need to set, but working with like-minded people is probably one of the most important. But chasing refis when the rates are good, that's easy, man. That's like the mouse chasing the cheese. That's simple. Be creative and go after the tough business, because when these rates do go back up to 5, 6, they've been at all-time lows. Why aren't they ever going to be at all-time highs? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's not impossible for that to happen. So it's going to be a tough sell when you're selling everybody now at 3s and 2s, and and then all of a sudden rates go back up to 4s. What are you going to do then? You know what I mean? So people are going to buy no matter what, so that's just
man, because you put in the work with the purchase, right? And now you're seeing, okay, the refis are coming in. It's a small window.
Yeah.
But the clients that you helped buy, those are the ones coming back. They trust you.
Absolutely.
And they're easy. Yep. They're easy to just put in there.
Yep. So and that's all the refis we're doing is, and again, we're not even marketing after them. They're calling us saying, hey, you want to talk about rates. So if it comes to if I'm going after my refi clients, not at all. I've got someone on Velvet. Velvet will call, email clients and try to get them warmed up. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But we're not actively going after our pipeline. It's just not our thing, I guess, to say. But for the good thing is that we do such a good job and make the clients want to come back. We're their first call. Or what's even more awesome, everybody, is that when you get, hey, your client had their credit pulled, boom, hey, what's going on? You doing a refi? Let me know. So it helps you also stay on top of people when they get their credit pulled. So, UWM has a pretty cool thing that reflects on that. And, so just focusing on people you can reach out. I'm not a big salesy guy, like, hey, I can drop your rate $20, $50 a month or whatever. That's just not how I do this business, and again, some people do, and kudos to them. I want to make sure that I add more than just a sale and just give them as much financial support
Cool.
as I can, you know, and it's not just trying to close the deal at that point. So
Nice. All right. Last question. Where do you see, we kind of touched on this a bit, but where do you see the industry, real estate mortgage, in the next 2 to 3, 5 years? Where do you see it going?
you know, after this election is going to be a big deal. You know, I'm not sure where everybody stands politically, but I can tell you what side I stand on, and I can tell you that if it goes the other direction, it's going to be a mess. And it's unfortunate to say, but I'm hoping that this industry has another 4 years of the administration. I'm hoping the rates stay low like they've been. You know, I'm hoping after November that everything, you know, at the end of the day, just stays consistent like it's been. But I mean, if that's the case, I would predict that rates are going to stay awesome. I predict that the housing levels are going to maintain at least consistent, maybe not the large increases that we are used to. You know, even the last few years, we've had some really good value increases. But you know, this COVID stuff with the slight recession, I'd hate to see like anybody lose a little bit of value in their homes or whatnot. But you know, if anything, maybe a small step back on values or a good flattening. You know, this was kind of a good little reset with the economy. People got a little taste of you know, I personally thought 2020, and I'm not saying it's not, but I literally thought 2020 was going to be just taking candy from a baby the year. You know, if you would have told me this COVID shit was coming and we we're going to have a tough year, I'd have said you're absolutely nuts. But you know, it happened. We fought through it. You know, it definitely was a humbling experience for for me anyways. But yeah, I predict that we're going to be just kicking ass and taking names still. You know, rates are going to go low. I seriously think that the way UWM setting up their business is because they predict that rates are going to be in the mid twos. So there won't be any EPOs with them because isn't nobody going to go to a mid two and repay again if they've already paid. So they're just, I think that's their prediction, and why they're coming up with conquest programs, because I feel like they feel that rates are going to be in that range soon. So this year, third quarter, fourth quarter, I think are just going to be absolutely gangbusters. So
cool, man. Cool, man. Hey, I love it, dude. I appreciate you speaking, taking the time as always, man. I hope I see you again, man. I love the energy. I'll never forget Irvine, man. I'm glad we
absolutely. Are you hitting to Vegas or what?
I'll be in Vegas, man.
I think we're going to go to that.
I can only do one night with you that night.
Okay. I got my wife with me, so she's the troublemaker.
I think my wife might be coming too. Well, enjoy your time, man. I appreciate it again.
Absolutely, you guys.
All right, later, Matt.
All right, man. Cheers.
Later.